Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Holy Devoted. We are so excited to show you guys our new studio. I'm mostly very excited. I feel like we've had an ugly studio for a number of years, and we decided to put some time and effort into it. Last time, I don't know if it was last time. That was one of the things I was going to say in the announcement. So Faith Peterson is still with us and still on the podcast. She's just doing her internship in another country. And so she's not able to record with us. We have some like pre-recorded episodes. So it's going to go like cute and then ugly and then cute again because we have like pre-recorded episodes that are going to be posting with Faith. But there's only a few more, but we wanted to scatter them between guests. And so for the next couple months, few months, maybe more than a few months, she comes back in May, I think, something like that. I don't know. For the next little while, we're going to be having guests to kind of fill the spot until she's back from her time in another country. So she's still a part of the podcast. She didn't leave us permanently. She did leave us, but not permanently. Anyways, that was a long introduction. If you're new here, you're probably like, what is she talking about? It's okay. You'll figure it out. But we also want to thank our sponsors, Teen Missions International. They take teens on mission trips. And so if you're interested in serving the Lord this summer, you should go to teenmissions.org and look at the different trips we have. I think we have 17 teams going this summer to a bunch of different really cool countries.
And spring break trips.
Oh, yeah. If summer's too much of a commitment for you, I get it, commitment phobes, go look at spring break. Yeah. All right. Oh, Charity, we have a guest. Wow.
Hi, guys. Hello.
That was like an ADHD moment for me.
It's a pleasure to be on here.
Yes. Charity is A, so fun. B, we went on a team together, had the time of our lives. She is wise, fun, cool.
Stop. My ego does not need this right now.
I love her earrings. So
Wait,
yeah.
Thank you. That is so kind.
No, they're really cute. I was trying to look at, is it like a little fishtail?
It's like a little like stone with a little kind of triangle thing going on. I got my seconds done this summer.
I did too.
I was in my reinvent myself era. Get my seconds done, start running, come back stronger.
Dude, love it.
Our hero.
Okay. How did you end up on the podcast, Charity?
Well, Emma Tauscher messaged me and I was like, oh my gosh, celebrity message in my inbox.
Oh my word.
Happy to come, clear my calendar. Here I am. It's a pleasure. I'm very excited.
We're so excited to have you on. We've been talking about it for so long and then we kept like just missing each other.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into it and chat about being busy and spiritual at the same time.
Ellie and Emma are both so cool. Highly recommend.
Oh,
I'm just happy to be here.
All right. You want to jump into the topic?
Yeah. All right. So, Charity, what does being busy look like for you right now?
Well, I feel like busy is a good word to kind of describe the season I'm in. I'm a sophomore at Trevecca Nazarene University in Nashville, and I feel like my calendar could not be more full. Not intentionally, because I try not to like thrive in busyness, because I know that carries over to like my faith and my walk with the Lord and my pace of life. But everything just kind of ended up adding up that way this semester. I'm an RA for the apartments, which is super fun. I'm sophomore class president, so I do things with student government. I'm a TA. Yeah, and I'm a wannabe runner.
And
There's
a
more
wannabe
to
what?
the list?
Wait, what'd you say? And a
Runner.
wannabe what?
A wannabe runner. I know.
Dude.
Yeah.
I
Emma
love
inspired
running.
me.
Wow. I'm so glad. Someday I'll run again.
All right. Class president,
I believe in
TA, runner, in school. Do you have a job on top of that?
I resell clothing.
I feel like when I was in college, that was some of the busiest times, but also a lot of kids in high school, I feel like are really busy.
Yeah.
Like between sports.
If you're
All the
doing
different stuff.
sports and a job, and if you're doing anything like class president or stuff with like
Yeah.
that, or even if you're like homeschooled, but you're doing like a co-op and a sport and you're working and you're trying to do homework. And then if you're doing dual enrollment, like you're doing college classes.
That's like huge. Yeah.
People stack their resumes for college applications.
Oh,
So glad
Yeah.
not to be in high school
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Praise God, it's over. And then you have to study for the SATs and the ACTs. And I'm
So
having
much pressure.
flashbacks. This is like
Yeah.
triggering.
One and done. I was like, I don't care after the first test. The score I
Yeah.
get is the score I get.
Good enough.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So with all of the busyness, how would you say that your daily like rhythms and routines impact your relationship with God?
I would say they very much completely determine my day, my week, my friendships. Full transparency, I have not found a good balance at all yet this school year. Like I came in with like that camp high thinking it was going to be seamless and that it was just all going to piece together properly. And then classes started and testing and commitments. And honestly, every day it looks different. Like I wish I could say that I get up every morning and I have my 30-minute devotion before I have my coffee and go to class. But with 8 a.m.s and morning meetings, that does not always end up happening. But I think one thing I've just been trying to rest in more this semester is grace, and grace not as an excuse not to intentionalize time with God, but grace is in resting and knowing that, like, even if I don't spend time with him at a certain time of day, like, he's not confined to that time of my day. Like, he goes with me, and I can commune with him in the big moments, in the small moments, in the car, in conversation with people, just like in the stillness and like the little breaks in each day. And so I still am trying to like find a better consistent time to sit down and have time in the Word, because some weeks I feel like it's great, others it's pretty not great at all. But God has like been with me and been close. And and I noticed at times too where like I haven't been in the Word as much and I haven't been as intentional in prayer and connecting with him, like my attitude is just so different with people. Like I get annoyed so much easier, I'm so much more judgmental, I'm so much more irritated, whereas time that I feel like I'm abiding, my heart is just completely different, and I have so much more patience and bearing fruits of the Spirit. So even when I'm not honestly the most diligent and connected to God and the Word as I should be, like I do recognize that that is absolutely crucial for everything I'm doing in school, and especially studying ministry. Like without that, everything I'm doing is just futile.
Dude, that's so real what you said about like not being confined to one time of the day. It's so easy for my brain to be like, oh, you missed the morning, like then you're done, like it's fine, like you just won't spend time with God today. It's like it doesn't have to be that way. Like I'm the one who chooses now. It might be harder in the evening because I'm tired from the day and everything else, and you know, maybe you're busy, but being open-minded that if you miss it in the morning, that you can choose to be intentional at a different time of the day.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard also when you're like in college or high school or season of life where it's like so busy and so go, and like you're saying with 8 a.m.s, like those were the worst. Like I did my very hardest, like my best to never schedule myself for an 8 a.m., but occasionally it was like the class you had to take was at 8 a.m. and you're like, how could this happen?
Like, why, God?
Lord, why? Do you want me to do my devotions? And it's like, well, yes, he does. But sometimes you have to wake up and go to an 8 a.m. And, you know, the good news is it doesn't last forever. Like, this season of college is a whirlwind and so fun, but it's not forever. So, like, finding God in those spaces, like the little moments right now, and then remembering you will have time again where, like, you can do your devos every morning. Like, you're not always going to be waking up for an 8 a.m.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so much hope in that.
Yeah.
And even just reminding myself that, like, if there's a week where, like, my time with God is very minimal, like, God is not completely ostracized for me. Yeah. Like, he's not on the other end of the planet. Because I think, like, in my mind and in my heart, I'm like, even if, like, just the week goes by and I feel like it's been busy and I haven't been as intentional as I would have liked, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, now I'm so far from God. And, like, that's not the case at all. Yeah. And that's just, like, lies of the enemy that try to be transformed into guilt and shame that, like, become this easy, like, mechanism of just, like, distancing from God. And, like, isolation is not what he designed for us. And so I try to like rebuke that with truth whenever those thoughts come up.
But I think like Christians almost like can make us feel that way sometimes with the way that we say things. Like, I don't know, like if you feel like God isn't close, like he's not the one who moved, or things like, you know what I'm saying? But also like, I don't know if it's always necessarily true. Like I think like even like Job, like I think God was near to Job even though he was silent for all of those chapters.
I mean, what do we say about the 400 years that God was silent between the prophets and Jesus?
Yeah,
like did Israel move?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. Like, they're definitely sinful.
Possible.
Like, you know.
Yeah, but no, I hear what you're, I get what you're saying. So I think sometimes I think about it even like with friends. Like, if I had a really busy week and I didn't text a friend of mine for a week, they're still my good friend after a week.
They're just as close to you.
Yeah. Now, when it starts, you know, if months are going by and you haven't talked to your friend, you haven't spent time with your friend, if, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't be in the Word. We should be, and we should be talking to God throughout our day and all of these things. But I think sometimes it can become quite performative. And I've been really guilty of that in my life. Yeah. Like, this is something that I've walked through a lot. Like, me and my husband I think when we were dating, we were talking about, like, do you think it's a sin to miss your devotions? And I was like, absolutely. Like, of course it is. And he's like, I don't think so. And I was like, and so I talked to like Joel a bunch of people who are like mentors of mine, and they agreed with Joel. No. I was like, no.
Betrayal.
What? No, I know. I thought I was right. You're not supposed to agree with him. And so it's been a huge thing for me walking through, just like letting go of some of that legalism. Like you don't have to go to bed feeling guilty if you miss your devotions.
Yeah.
Now, be intentional with it, because it's important.
And it depends on your heart posture too. Like, are you neglecting your devotions because you don't want to hear from God, because you're hiding a sin or something that you feel guilty about? Like, are you are you in your mind like, oh, I don't want to go and do my devotions because then I'm going to feel like convicted because of this thing I've been doing. And so I'm just going to avoid it and it's going to be okay. It's fine. I'm just not going to think about it. And then it won't hurt. But then it's like, well, it's going to hurt more the longer you're delaying it. But if you just had a really busy, like hectic morning and you missed your devos and then you're like, Lord, I want to spend time with you today. I just haven't found a moment. I feel like he understands that. Like, one day accidentally missed versus multiple days intentionally missed is very different.
Like if you're making bad decisions at night, like staying up late, and then you're not gonna get up. It's like, okay, well,
girl.
Yeah, I think it's both for me, honestly. Like different times, it's like different reasons. Like there are weeks it's just genuinely busy and hectic, and so much is going on, and I just feel so drained. But then there are times that like I wake up and I'm tired and I scroll reels for 20 minutes before I get out of bed. And then I'm like, now I'm rushing. Oh, I'm going to be late for class. But like,
missed my
Charity, like if you just would have gotten up and like not watched that funny reel about a performative man, then like you could have had your devotion.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely both are at play at different times. But
I agree with that.
I remember what you would talk about, Emma, a couple summers ago about like our faith being like this pendulum between like legalism and grace, and how like it's not either extreme, but like there's more of like an equilibrium, and like accepting and living in and thriving in God's grace, but like God's grace not being forsaken as like an excuse to sin or like an excuse not to spend time with him. And I think how I view things in life kind of swings back and forth. And I recognize that maybe right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the grace end, but I feel like it's kind of finding like what a happy medium looks like.
And whenever you've been on one extreme, it's easy to go to the other extreme.
Yeah.
And so like I always say, like, I hope this came from one of my Bible teachers, but I hope that as my life goes on, my swings from like almost abusing God's grace, not that we can, but kind of to like being legalistic, that hopefully they'll get smaller swings until I'm mostly swiveling back and forth in the middle somewhere.
And you're just there.
Yeah,
hopefully.
like through the process of sanctification. Because even Paul writes in Romans, he says like, God has grace for us, and where sin is, there grace abounds. But does that mean that we should sin so that grace should abound all the more?
No,
not so, brethren.
By no means.
Whatever. Yeah, by no means.
Yeah.
By no means. But that's just such a good reminder of like, there is grace, but it doesn't mean we should abuse it. All right, so Charity, if you had to define rest physically, mentally, and spiritually, how would you describe rest?
I would define rest as maybe not just the practice of like letting your body rejuvenate and heal, but also just quieting your mind and your heart and intentionally breaking from the busyness that like each day and week brings. One thing that one of my professors talks about in regards to like spiritual disciplines is that there are going to be seasons of our life where we can't just stop doing everything for a day or a Sabbath or a period, but how Sabbath can look like intentionally stepping out of the normal to like replace it with something that is like filling and intentional and like connecting yourself to God. And so I think for me right now, I think about rest and I think about things that I do out of joy and life that replenish me rather than like drain me throughout the week. And right now, throughout my week, I would say my rest day is like Saturday. Saturdays are the highlight of my week. I start and I wake up and I have a slower morning. And then my friends and I all go on a run at Shelby Park in Nashville. And it's super sweet. And we just, exercise and yap and go get brunch after. And then the rest of the day, I just reset with laundry, time with the Lord, a nap, good food, going to bed early, time with friends. And I think like just the act of stepping aside from all of the busyness, even when there's a laundry list of to-dos, like that intentionality and that quieting brings things up and like my heart and my mind that if I had just kept going, like would have been ignored. And it's like, it's so easy for God to be like convicting us of things. And again, for it to be uncomfortable. And so you're like, I just keep going. I keep going because I'm scared that when I sit with him, like these things are going to be revealed. But in the slowing down and in the rest and in the quiet, that's where I feel that like, especially this semester in my heart, so many things have been revealed that like really need pruning from God. And that again, like if I just occupy my days with productivity, I can just easily ignore.
Yeah.
And just make it all about me and distractions and like sever myself from the vine. But I think when I think of rest, I just think of mainly the slowing down and inviting God into the slow and not like keeping him at arm's length and isolated.
I feel like what you said about the Sabbath being something really different from what you do during the week is like really important. And I still don't know that like in this season of my life I've really found that. Like when I was in college, I felt like I had a really good idea of like how to Sabbath because it was so clear cut to me. Like
don't do homework.
During the week, I'm like, I do homework every day. So what do I do on the Sabbath? Not homework. And then it was pretty easy to kind of fill in the gaps of like, well, I want to hang out with my friends or, you know, brunch or whatever. But now I feel like, I don't know why, but for some reason I've had a hard time like trying to make that distinction. And so I'm still figuring out how to do that like Sabbath different day.
I don't disagree with that. I agree. I think it's easier in some ways. It sounds dumb because it's probably not easier in that like you're really busy. But just it's more clean cut maybe. Whereas like now it's like, you know, I work during the week and then I have things I need to get done on the weekends. And so trying to figure out like what does that look like? And so I also think it's different for different people. Like for me, going to the gym and running, like those are some of my favorite hobbies. So those are restful in a way. Or like spending time with people is restful. Whereas I think there can kind of be like a stereotype in our mind that like true rest is like just sitting alone in silence in our house, which there's totally a place for that. I'm not saying there isn't, but different things can be restful and like recharge you depending on, I guess, like the type of person you are. Yeah. And so one of the things I have felt a lot lately is that I haven't been giving myself like processing time almost because I like to be productive. And so I'll be doing stuff in the house and then I'll be listening to an audiobook or like watching like a long YouTube video or listening to a podcast or those type of things. And I realize like there's all this time where I'm always like, it's easier to feel overwhelmed because I'm like always receiving information rather than like processing information. I watched a whole video about like allowing yourself to be bored. That's really been changing some of the ways I've been doing things. Like I could be listening to a video right now, but do I really need to? Like I could be listening to a podcast or music. Right. And so I've been going on like walks and stuff where I don't listen to anything. Wow. And I just get to like think for a while. And I really enjoy thinking. That sounds weird. I don't know how to say that in a way that sounds normal. Oh, yeah. But when I'm always listening to stuff, like I don't get into that like deep thought level where I feel like I'm processing information and stuff. But I think rest has been something that I've wanted to explore more. Like, what does it look like for us as a couple, like, to do more rest? Sounds weird. It just sounds so like weird.
That's part of it, too, maybe. Like, trying to figure out how to do your Sabbath as a married person is different than trying to do it as a single person. Because it's like, it's not just me Sabbathing, it's us. But then it's like, but what you want to do isn't what I would enjoy as rest. So how do we find what is restful for both of us together? And then if I sit at home all weekend, I feel guilty for not doing anything. So it's like,
and like sitting at home all the time is kind of icky feeling. Like that's not really restful always. So I don't know.
Yeah. But then it's hot and you don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I think like finding things you enjoy too. Like on the weekends I do my nails. Like I really enjoy that. Like some people say that's not restful because it's like he's a straight,
you're trying to do work.
But like it's enjoyable. Like I genuinely love doing it. So like, and it's not like, I don't know, I think it's restful. So I think it's probably for each person. So maybe you should like write down each of those. You know, what was it? Emotional, mental, spiritual, physical. Maybe it was physical, mental, spiritual.
Yeah. And what you said about boredom too, like I think that like really just touches on also the beauty of like summers with teen missions, because I've noticed like the drastic differences in my attention span on a summer team and during the school year. Because on a summer team, like you don't have your phone, you don't have all of these different forms of media. Yeah. It's like you're waiting for dinner to be ready. You're sitting there. You can talk to the person next to you. You can pray. You can look over your memory verses.
You don't know a lot of, there's not a lot of options.
Choices. Yeah, there's like no like all of these like short little fill-in distractions. And I feel like now in culture, like we're in line for something at the store, we scroll our phone.
No, it's actually so bad for me. Yeah, I sit down on the toilet. I'm like,
no, same. I bring my phone to the bathroom every time.
I can't even sit on the toilet without being on my phone. Yeah, this is dumb.
I like watching people at the store, man. I enjoy seeing that. Like,
yeah. And when you know that people are looking at nothing on their phone, but they're just pretending to, so they don't have to make eye contact with you.
Staring at their home screen.
That's so fair.
Not gonna lie, I've done that before. I have.
Oh, it's because I don't know why we do it. Like, I understand it, but it's like, what happened to us that we can't like just be in an awkward social situation for like 30 seconds? Like we can't endure it
and enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
I know.
Even if you're standing in line at the grocery store, like maybe you don't enjoy that, but we just can't even bear to take it in anymore.
That's true. On the topic of kind of like rest and this type of stuff, I know I'm excited to hear what she has to say. Thanks. When was the last time you felt truly restored spiritually, and what were you doing? If you have to think, if Ellie has an answer, she can also go.
Yeah, Ellie, why don't you start, and then I'll.
She strikes me as one who like gets spiritually restored. I don't know how to explain that, but
it's kind of brutal. I feel like it's been a long time since I felt like truly spiritually restored, because I feel like the last time I really felt like spiritually like refilled or refueled or however you want to say it was like I went on a retreat with my school for I think student leadership, and so basically we like got away to this big like retreat center that was off the coast of Washington, so it's like gorgeous, you know, whatever. And we just had a lot of like downtime in our schedule, especially in the mornings. And I don't know why, but just like taking the time in the morning to go on a walk and just like reflect with the Lord, and there's like nothing else on your plate. Like you can't do homework, you can't do work, you can't do anything else. It's like I can either sleep longer or I can go walk, and it's like that. Those are your choices. You don't have internet, you don't have your phone, you don't. Like, you're just out there, and it's just like talk to God or be bored. And then you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go talk to God. Like,
okay,
kind of like you were saying about the summer. But then I feel like since being a leader on summer teams, like I do not encounter that boredom anymore.
It is no longer there.
It is no longer spiritually refreshing to be on a summer team because you're so busy.
It's almost like as a leader, like the practical almost like eats the spiritual.
Yeah.
Because you have to be so focused on what is everybody going to eat?
Yeah.
What's the schedule? Where are we going? Why does Billy's toenail look like that? Like,
and you're sick and you can't rest. Like,
it's a whole thing. Yeah.
It's like kind of like being an RA. We like my coordinator person who was in charge, she talked to us about like most of the time as an RA, you're on, like you're doing your job, you're working, because it's not like a regular 9 to 5. It's like 24/7 basically. Like if your resident needs something in the middle of the night, they're gonna call you, and you have like you're there, you know. And the same thing with summer teams. Like if your team member needs something in the middle of the night, like you're there. Hopefully they are able to like. They're not dying in the middle of the night most nights, but there are times where they're like
really need something.
They need something, and so you're there. So I feel like I don't know. I just haven't had the time to like do that refresh or recharge, and I don't know how to like
figure out
how to do that. I don't know.
I also think as a grown up, like maybe I should say a grown up in your faith, but I also think that like the huge swings also get smaller. And the longer you're like a Christian that's walking with Christ, and that like maybe I don't know, maybe this is bad, but I think you're gonna understand what I'm saying. I feel like when you're like first starting to walk with the Lord, like you have such huge swings, like complete devastation over your sin, and then like complete refreshment from God's Spirit, and like I don't know, because they're new experiences, maybe the swings feel bigger. Then you feel more like, and it's easy to get complacent as you settle into this lifelong walk with Jesus that feels less like a woo, like ocean kind of like storm, calm, woo, you know what I'm talking about, like no. And so I feel like it gets more in the middle. Do you know what I'm saying?
Love the commentary.
Me reading the book of Psalms. Kill them. Rejoice. Those scary violent psalms, like
oh my goodness. Where they're like, destroy them, Lord, at the fiery pit.
Joel, hold my hand.
What is happening?
Anyways, and so I feel like also like the extremes are less.
The spiritual highs and lows are less.
Even like, you know what? I don't know why I'm like making it sound like it's a bad thing, because it's also like that within like dating relationships too. I feel like, or like when you've been married, you know what I'm talking about, like the extreme like
emotional
infatuation, like and then also the complete like I can't believe you've done this. Is like way bigger. It seems like than. When you've been going for a while. When you've been married
for a little while, you're like...
It's like, I can't believe you did that. No,
I actually can't. Okay. Like, that was predictable.
I did not mean that negatively. I just meant it as funny. I love my husband very much.
Shout out, Joel.
My bestie. Anyways, spiritually restored.
Yeah, I would say for me, it was probably the summer at camp. I was in Santa Cruz, California for 10 weeks working as a counselor at Mount Herman, camp and counselor, camp and conference center, not camp and counselor. And it was absolutely wonderful. Like going into the summer, I knew it was where I was supposed to be because I prayed a lot about it and every single door opened, but I honestly didn't know why. Like, it was on the other end of the country, and the past 3 summers I had spent with teen missions. And so although that was challenging, that had kind of grown familiar and like almost like an easy place to go back to because I kind of knew what to expect.
It's in your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's in my comfort zone. And so working as a counselor at camp was like, oh, what am I doing here? And just from day one, like, if I could just have a word that would encapsulate the summer, like, it would be rest. Like, the pace and the life that we had there. We worked sessions in the morning and the evening for about 4 hours each, and then we had around 4 hours off in the afternoon each day. And so having time to like be active and present and engaged in ministry, but also time to just be still and care for our souls was so, so, so good. Like, I made the sweetest friendships and had just holy moment after holy moment, and nothing radical with like fog machines and intense music. And I'm like, the Spirit is moving here. But like times where like in the stillness, like God's presence was just like hovering over me. And in conversations with people, like having people reiterate the words of my prayers that I had only prayed to God directly to me. Like, it was just God. It was like God was just speaking to me through everyone and everything. And I just felt rested and I was active. Again, I was in my runner girl era, so I was feeling healthy.
Yeah.
I was connected very intentionally to the vine. I was surrounded in such a good community. I just feel like in every aspect, it was just so refreshing and encouraging. And then I was like, going back to school will be completely normal. No, it was a bit of a challenge.
I went like a coming off the high type thing.
Yeah. Like, I went from camp and then had to be at campus the next day. And so it was like quite the whiplash of busyness. And I think I'm still figuring out, honestly, what rest looks like during the school year.
That's
some
totally
weeks
fair.
I think I'm doing great. Others I'm like Charity, like not at all.
Yeah.
But this summer was really rejuvenating.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think for me, I feel like I've been getting a lot out of my devotions recently. And that's been like, I don't know, that always feels so restorative to me when I'm coming to God's word and like he's speaking to me through his word. Because I've had times where I've come to God's word and it's felt so dry. And that's like not a good feeling.
Where it's like a genealogy or like the boundary lines in Joshua. Not expecting that one.
Sometimes, the boundary lines in Joshua were brutal. That was
so
a few months
tough.
ago for me.
I felt bad, but I had to skip ahead a couple chapters.
Yeah.
I was like,
sometimes it can be like that. And so I just feel like God's been like, I've been learning and things have been standing out to me in God's word, and that's felt really restorative. It's like, wow, God's speaking to me. My husband always says, like, you should come to your devotions, like, expecting to hear from God. And that's been really, I don't know. It's been
Any
good in my life.
specific recent tidbits you want to share from your devotions?
I've been in Daniel. And so there's just been a lot in there about Jesus. That's really incredible that, like, in the timeline of weeks, that if you calculate it, like, God says it's going to be this many times until, this prince is going to come and basically end suffering and stuff. And if you count up, it's like to the triumphant entry of Jesus. And like Daniel was written before that. So like prophecy fulfilled. And so that's like, this stuff is true,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Whenever you doubt, sometimes it's always good to remember like those prophecies that came true. It's like, wow.
So many. Literally hundreds of prophecies.
Many. It's actually wild. I can't remember if you did the last one or was it me?
You did because I answered it.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
Do you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she does.
Charity, what is one habit that you could start this week to thrive personally, even during a hectic season?
I think something that's always really stood out to me, there's this book, I think by Brother Lawrence, but I could be wrong, called The Practice of the Presence of God. And in this book, like, he describes like what communion and life with God looks like for him. And the illustration that he always references back to is like doing the dishes. And he called like the dish pit or like the kitchen his holy space. And just, I don't know, he wrote explaining how a lot of his sweetest moments with God were while doing the everyday mundane tasks. And so I think there are a lot of seasons for a lot of us right now, honestly, in this productive and busy culture where our days are really stacked full. And yes, there's room and need for reprioritization, but honestly, there's times where we can't really cut anything out and everything that's on our plate kind of has to stay on our plate. And so one thing that I've been trying to implement more into my life is doing the mundane, but like not doing it severed from God, like not having your time with God in one part of the day and then you just go about your day and do everything else and complete your checklist and be like, oh, I did my devotions. Yay. I did everything else. Yay. I can go to bed happy. But more so inviting God to just do everything with you and to do everything for your glory. I don't remember where it's at in Teen Missions, but there's like a little poster somewhere at Teen Missions that says like, whatever you do, whether in word or in deed, do it all for the glory of God. And I always remember thinking about that on summer teams of like washing dishes in the pails, or just waiting in the dish line, or having a conversation with someone in the airport. Like, it doesn't just have to be church services or times of prayer or in small groups or spiritual conversations that we're connecting to God, but we can make the commitment and have the intentionality to do every little thing for his glory. Like, you see a sunrise, say, wow, God, great work. That was beautiful.
Wow, God.
Okay, like,
another stunning one. Well done.
You know?
Yeah, pop off, God.
Like, keep it an ongoing conversation. And one quote that I heard somebody say in a sermon a couple years ago too was just that they rarely would pray for 20 minutes straight, but that they rarely went 20 minutes without praying. And so I think one very realistic like expectation and goal that we can set for ourselves in the near future is not that we're going to carve out an hour at the start of every day and pray, which is a great idea. I mean, if you have that time, commitment, energy, go for it. More time with God is great. But just making the commitment to like continually acknowledge God, because he goes with you. And yeah.
That makes me think of, I've been wanting this book for a while. I really should just go ahead and buy it. It's called Every Moment Holy. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's kind of good, like the exact idea that you're talking about. And I don't know, it's like more liturgical in that it's got prayers for like everyday moments, which is why it's called Every Moment Holy. So it's like, you're washing the dishes. Here's a prayer to pray while you're washing the dishes.
That's cool.
You know, or like you're making a cup of coffee in the morning. Here's a prayer to pray while you're making that cup of coffee. So that way you're able to like reflect on the Lord while you're doing your mundane task. And I don't know, like, you could memorize them or you could print them or whatever, but it's just something that I feel like it's an idea that I really want to incorporate into my life of like making those mundane or like everyday tasks feel more like inviting God into those spaces more intentionally than I am right now.
I agree.
So anyways, I really want that book, but I haven't gotten it yet. So
I'm very far from being a mom, but that reminds me of like those little trendy Instagram reels you see where the mom is like folding her kids' clothes and she's like, as I fold my kids' clothes, I pray for my kids.
Yeah, like
so
stacking
cute.
prayers with tasks.
Yeah.
One thing I thought of with like habits, we're talking about like how to keep like spiritual habits while you're busy and all of that sort of thing. Something that's really helped me is putting some of my favorite things in the early part of the day, because it makes it easy to get up. So this sounds weird, but hear me out. Like, my favorite time of the day pretty much is when I'm working out. And so by working out in the morning, I'm not going to go to the gym if I haven't done my devotions. And so I wake up, I don't know why, but it has made it way easier to get up early, do my time with Jesus, and then go to the gym because I'm like stacking tasks. And so that's something that's really helped me. So if you have some things that like you really like to do, I don't know, like cleaning your house, or I don't know. Some people really like to clean.
I mean, yeah,
that's a real thing that people
not enough to
do.
make me wake up when it's dark outside.
But do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, it
Pick
sounds
something
terrible
fun.
that I'm like getting motivated by like something I love doing that isn't. I should be motivated by just loving the Lord, but
that's smart actually.
It probably
really
sets
works.
the tone for your workout too, though.
It does.
Like,
Yeah, it's like I get spiritually refreshed, and then I go and work out, which like completely clears my mind. It literally is like the best way to get like dopamine over and over again right before, and then I'm walking to work like, this is great. Plus, I go to bed early because I know I'm getting up early, so then I'm gone good sleep. Dude,
Yeah.
Healthy queen.
that's my hack right there.
Here's
to
my
a good
question.
life.
How do you deal with the mornings being so dark? Because I have the hardest time waking up when it's pitch black outside. I'm like, the sun's asleep, I'm asleep.
Okay. Once you get on the rhythm, it's really cozy doing your devotions in the dark. I have like a little warm lamp that I turn on my little desk, and it's really cozy feeling.
Cozy.
And
But
then
you
it
don't
almost
fall
feels,
asleep?
But I'm like one of those people, once I'm awake, I'm awake.
So proud. I'm
And if I
impressed.
get out of the bed. If I stay in the bed like I did this morning.
Do you have coffee with your devotions?
I do.
Yeah.
So I get up. I already have my stuff laid out. Otherwise, I don't have time. I get my gym clothes. I go
That's
make
smart.
my coffee. I grab my coffee. I go sit, read my Bible. And then I pack my like office clothes. I go to the gym. And then we come here.
So it girl of you.
Maybe I should just set my clothes out the night before. That would really help me.
That helps a
probably.
lot. If I'm not ready, then it's like frantic and hectic and terrible.
Try
I
to
will
pick
not
out
pick
an
out my
outfit
outfits in the morning.
Yeah, no.
My judgment is always awful. I leave in the most hideous outfits. I need like the rationality of the night before and my roommate's input
so
to
fair.
help.
It takes me so much time to just like stand there in the closet staring at all my clothes. I'm like, But if I did it the night before, I could sleep longer, or I could just spend more time doing my devotions.
Yeah.
This is
less decisions in the
I
morning.
think I'm going to start putting my clothes out at night. I'll let you know how it goes.
So with all of this discussion about trying to be spiritually disciplined and physically disciplined too, I feel like we've touched on that a little bit. Yeah. Even in a busy season of school and all these different things. How do you balance the need for discipline and rest?
I feel like, again, it's like a pendulum, and I keep swinging between opposite extremes. Like, there are days I sacrifice my sleep and time with friends and sometimes time with the Lord. And, like, I'm just cranking out assignments and to-do lists. And I'm like, I just have to get all this done, or else I'm just going to be stressed the rest of the week. Yeah. But then there's other days, like a week and a half ago, I woke up on a Thursday morning, and I just decided I had 4 classes and a meeting and chapel. I just went back to bed, and I laid in bed the entire day. And so I think I honestly haven't found the greatest balance between like disciplining yourself while also resting. I feel like I go from ultra discipline to ultra rest to like, oh, I need this time with a friend tonight. This assignment can be in late to like, no, like I just have to do all of these things. But I think the most important thing for me to keep in mind in finding this balance and like, I don't know, trying to live a life that in all aspects is glorifying to God, is just the reminder that we're not worth what we produce. Like, I think in this society, like, it's often like perpetuated that we are what we make, we are our grades, we are how busy we are. And it's
like almost an achievement focused culture. Yeah. America is an achievement. Like, we're all about what we've achieved.
What we do. And it's almost like busyness is like this medal that people go around like dangling.
Sorry, I'm just too busy.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but low-key
I don't even know why I said it in that tone, because I'm definitely someone who's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I said it like I was making fun of them.
So full.
Like, sorry, I'm just so popular, I'm packed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I agree with you. It's like a badge of honor.
It feels like it's such an American thing to do. It's like, oh, I'm just doing everything.
My day, every hour by the hour.
Scheduled. Yeah.
But one thing that my pastor said, I've been here this weekend for fall break in Florida. Shout out Pastor Bradley Fink with a B-R-A-D. One thing that he said, he's preaching on kind of the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and
such a good book.
Tying in scriptures to that, which I want to read so bad, especially with this podcast and being home for the weekend. And one thing that he touched on was just that saying yes to one thing always means saying no to another.
Oh,
and so it's not like you can just add and add and add without subtracting. And so thinking about
so true.
College, it's not like, oh, I can do this position. Like, I can commit to all of these things.
That. Like, yes.
You're like, oh, it'll all fit in.
But you're saying no to so many other things.
Something suffers.
No to good sleep. No to
rest with God.
No to your devotions. No to whatever.
No to richness and friendships. Like,
no, that's so true.
It's always a balance. And so I think there are times where like I want to do something in school, but like a practical step I do to like not be over disciplined, but also like rest and like thrive in grace is to just, I don't know, say no when I feel like it would subtract from something that's equally meaningful. Because like it's just the choice of a lot of meaningful options, and you kind of just have to prioritize which is most important.
It's like you're at a buffet table.
Yeah, it's like a buffet of good options, and you have to say
buffet
no.
Of
do we overindulge?
Sometimes.
Absolutely.
If you say yes to everything on the table, what are you saying no to? Your stomach's health.
Yeah. Oh, bars. That's
fine. Sorry,
One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about like you lose sleep and all this stuff as a student. I feel like probably one of the best things you could do to like that'd be both rest and discipline is to not procrastinate. I feel like when you're really busy with a lot of assignments, when you procrastinate, it makes you feel busier because there's all this stress and lack of sleep, where if you can practice the discipline to work on these things in increments rather than like trying to do the whole thing in one night, that's going to kind of help balance some of that. But
were you an all-night worker, Emma?
I didn't stay up super late, but I didn't have internet in my dorm. So my last term of college, that was like, I was really burnt out, and that's when you see yourself procrastinate a lot. So I definitely procrastinated a lot then. But I didn't procrastinate. Well, we just did a whole episode on comparison, so maybe I shouldn't say it that way.
I didn't procrastinate as bad as some people.
Were the like all night people like at a whole new level. Yeah. And like I did that a few times. Like I did. But I tried to work pretty steadily on it, and so it wasn't quite so overwhelming. And then I picked one day where I wouldn't do homework. It was like my one day off. It was always Friday evenings. I did not do homework. And then Saturday and Sunday I did like homework the whole time. But that's just, it is what it is to be a college student. Like there's sometimes you can't get around it. Like you have so many things to do all at the same time. But.
And one thing too that one of my teachers touches on, there's this book that we're reading for class called Soul Feast by Marjorie Thompson. And I felt really, really convicted reading about Sabbath because honestly, it's something that I have not really intentionally set aside much in my life.
Same.
Like there's been seasons where I've been like, yes, I'm going to Sabbath. There's been other times for like a year or two, the thought of Sabbath just isn't in my mind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And one question I asked him was like, Tim Green, I was like, how do you practice Sabbath when like logistically there's not a full day you can set aside? Because like with my assignments, I'm in Hebrew for one of my classes, and he doesn't open up like some of the weekend assignments until after class on Friday. And then there was one this last weekend that then opened up Saturday morning. And like timelines of when they open and when they're submitted, like logistically, like I cannot just get it all done and like have a day free. And so I was like, what does this look like where you have commitments and like you still want to honor the Lord with your schoolwork and like not just be like, nothing that I do matters. Let me just sit in God's presence, you know?
Yeah.
And so one thing that he really said that really, I don't know, just touched me and encouraged me was just also the thought of like practicing Sabbath moments. And so again, for me, that's looked like having like multiple half days or part of days that I'm like, for you, what you were saying about Friday night of like, okay, Saturday morning and afternoon, I'm going to set aside and have this. And then like Sunday morning for me, like this is going to be a Sabbath.
Sure.
And like this evening.
And that's so creative, dude. That's a great idea. I guess that's what I did in college. Cause like I went to class in the morning and I worked all afternoon on Friday. So it wasn't like some glorious day of bed rotting. Like I worked all day and then I just had the evening off, which is kind of pathetic when you think about it. But as a college student, that's what you're like looking at.
That's money moves right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe a high school student who's really busy. Not trying to ice them out.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And just like not too focusing so much like, because again, I can struggle a lot with like legalistic mindsets with scripture of like, I just have to do it like this.
I don't have a full day of Sabbath. I'm not doing it right.
There's just no point at that point. I'm so sorry, God.
Yeah.
But just thinking about the heart behind the law and thinking of it as like a gift from God to us rather than like you have to uphold these things to a T. Because like even Jesus said his disciples can heal on the Sabbath. Like
it was like the Sabbath was made for man.
Yeah.
Not man for the Sabbath.
Ooh,
dude.
Bars.
That's so
good.
the Bible. That's not me.
Still bars.
She said it's the Bible. It's still bars. Oh my word.
Dude.
Oh.
Thanks,
This has been so fun. This conversation like flowed so natural, I feel like.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Great.
Oh my gosh, thanks for listening.
I'm very
Man.
sweaty. You're right about these lights or whatever.
Yeah, there's something about it that makes it like feel, I think it's also the stress of like talking and the camera.
Yeah. Any fun little outro we want to do?
Oh, I know. We're trying to do this to each guest.
Okay.
We're trying to ask, we have a special question for each guest.
Ooh, okay.
We almost forgot. Well done.
Okay.
Charity reminding us.
Wow.
Great heavens. What advice would you give to your younger self if you could talk with younger Charity?
Maybe it's not that serious.
That's good advice.
Like in middle school, I was like, oh, I cannot get a B in this class. And all throughout high school, I was like, I just have to do so well in all these things. And I was like, I have to be the perfect friend. And I have to do all these things for people to love me. But I think now I'm realizing, like, especially with God's grace, like, there's not that much pressure on us. Like, we respond in obedience, like, to the gift of God. Yeah. But it's not this, like, self-manufactured, like, strife. And I just think I was so anxious and stressed all the time. And, like, it's not that serious. Put on your running shoes, go for a run, frolic, you know, listen to some music, have your coffee time with your Bible, smile, go on a roller coaster, enjoy life.
Oh, that's so good.
What about you guys?
Oh. I wasn't expecting it to get turned around on us.
Well, now it is.
No, I'd probably tell myself to just chill out and go to the Lord sooner than I did. I don't know if I would listen back then. I was kind of dumb, but
You'd still say it.
I would still tell myself, I'd be like, you're wasting time not going to Jesus. Just turn to him right now. Like, there's no point in not running to him now. You're only hurting yourself. But
yeah.
I think for me, there's a lot of different ones that I thought of. There's a lot of good ones that I could come up with. I think the biggest one that came to my mind was just that, like, I maybe should have gotten some help in high school for how bad my anxiety was. I was so anxious and I just had no idea how to deal with it. And it was really miserable. And so I think maybe that's what I would say. Also just that like you won't be anxious forever. Like God will bring this wonderful lady into your life. He'll chat with you and he'll bring a lot of healing to you through that. So
yeah, find a therapist.
He is Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals.
Yeah, he is. So.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening again to Holy Devoted. Thank you, Charity, for being on. Thank you, Teen Missions, for sponsoring us. Woo! And subscribe, like, go Instagram and whatever else we have.
Yeah.
Holy.devoted, I think.
.podcast.
.podcast. Holy.devoted.podcast.
There it is.
Stellar.